Hey, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at the X Lives and Deaths of Wolverine oversized hardcover that just came out. So without further ado, let's take a look at this book. Here is the front of the book, and I always have to go with the Mark Brooks covers because I really love his artwork, and he follows me on Twitter, so we're kind of besties. Here is the spine of the book, which, as you may be able to tell, is a very bright yellow. I was a little disappointed that it didn't have a wraparound Brooks cover like the other Brooks variants do, but it is what it is. And here is the back of the book with some Krakoan letters and a quote from Jean Grey. Very simply collected, this book has X Lives of Wolverine 1 through 5 and X Deaths of Wolverine also 1 through 5. Alright, so what is the X Lives and Deaths of Wolverine, and is it worth picking up? Well, first of all, this is a follow-up mini-event to last summer's Inferno event, and is actually more issues than Inferno since that was only 4 issues, but that is to say, Inferno is essential reading here. I think you'll be pretty confused otherwise. Also, this is a Benjamin Percy written story, and let me state up front that his past work hasn't quite resonated with me. It might with you, but it's not the usual style of narrative that I like reading best. I do like some of his beginning X-Force, but I ended up dropping that book because I wasn't too personally interested in the plot, and I didn't want to keep reading about Beast either, who definitely has his moments as a character, but his current status quo I find so arrogant, and that's definitely intentional, but I just cannot read him without wanting to grab him by his blue fur and shake him. Anyway, that's all to say that I mean no disrespect to Benjamin Percy or the creative team behind this book. It's just my taste that led me away from X-Force later on and have helped formulate my opinion on this story we're going to take a look at today. So story-wise, this isn't exclusively a Wolverine story. I think they went that route with titling just for marketability since Wolverine sells comics, but this really deals with a lot of Moira X stuff, and specifically her on the run from Mystique after the events of Inferno, and this leads into the trajectory of how her life will be moving forward, which I will not spoil for you, but I think the Moira plotline is the most important takeaway from this book, and it makes some significant changes to her character, but otherwise, I wouldn't really recommend this book unless you're an obsessive X-Men fan like myself who wants to collect as much as they can, or if you really like Wolverine a ton, but aside from that, it's a pretty skippable event in my opinion. Not to mention this hardcover is absolutely overpriced with a cover price of $75. Now I got it online for $40, which is a much better price, but this is still a thin book, and the paper quality, while it does seem improved actually, it's not where it was before. So that's something to think about when gauging purchases as well, especially since I know a lot of us are on book budgets. And there's also some pretty enjoyable and well put together and digestible video synopses out there on the story. So again, if you're not going to pick it up, you can get everything you need from one of those videos or just like a wiki synopsis probably. As for the Wolverine story in this book, it's about this Russian plot with sending Omega Red through time to attack Professor X, and then Jean Grey sends Wolverine's mind through time as well to stop it, and it was all just a bit too convoluted and a little confusing for me, and I honestly was having trouble trying to make sense of it because of all the paradoxes that it causes, but to its credit, it is wild and at times entertaining for that reason. Like, there is this panel of Wolverine covered in blood at one point, and he is just smiling as he looks down and he's holding the baby of Charles Xavier, and I just found that so funny for some reason. It was such funny imagery, especially after, like, you know, the fight sequence that we had. And so Wolverine has to save Charles as a baby, he has to save him as a young man trying to save the Amazon rainforest or something like that, and then there's a Phalanx Wolverine in here, and then Wolverine and all the other Wolverine clones or children are involved in the end, and yeah, it's just this kind of odd time travel adventure story that felt a little unnecessary if I'm being honest, and also kind of quickly faded from my memory after reading. I didn't find much of it as iconic as some of the other X events have been in the past few years. Like I already said, the biggest point of interest for me in this was to follow the depowered Moira as she runs away from Mystique, who's chasing her down, but even that I feel probably could have been executed a little better. But if you've read like the current Hellfire Gala issue that just came out and you haven't read this will explain why Moira seemed like a little different than her normal self in that. I'm trying to be vague here to avoid spoilers for people, but if you've read that, you'll know what I mean. So I hope I don't sound too negative about this one. Personally, I just thought it was a miss for me. Let me know if you enjoyed it though. Let me know if you've read this. Let me know if you plan on checking it out, because I would love to hear some other thoughts on this story too. Because maybe you think I'm wrong, maybe you think this is one of the greatest X-Men tales ever told. I want to know. So leave a comment below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you liked the video. I've got more omnibus overviews, hardcover overviews, and comic book analysis videos coming soon. I also do a podcast on the channel about people's favorite X-Men characters, where we analyze them and take a look at some of their runs, so that's something else to look forward to, because I've got new episodes of that coming out soon as well. And with this, have a great rest of your day, guys.